Hi everybody, it's Rob Clark here from Elevate Performance, a performance improvement consultancy. Today I'm going to talk about what appears to be quite a hot topic at the moment, that of psychological safety and trust in the workplace. Every few seconds our brain's asking one question. On a instinctive level, is it safe here or is it dangerous? So people then quickly ask themselves, is there a risk or a reward? It's the whole carrot and stick phenomenon. Are you with me or are you against me? Do I know what's going to happen? Do I feel more or less important than you? Do I have some choices here? This stuff really does resonate on a very human level, and much of it is become instinctive. If it feels safe, people develop a sense of belonging and they stay engaged. We use our prefrontal cortex, making us smarter and more likely to bring our full self and talents to what we're doing. If we feel danger and it feels like we're in a place of risk, then we move into fight or flight mode. The amygdala, where everything gets a bit more black and white, everything is against us. We move into self-protection. The more we can make an experience feel safe, the more engaged people around you will be. The safer people feel, the better the team climate, and the greater the team performance. Leaders often fail to eliminate fear and make employees feel safe. Much research has been done on the topic. One example, some research by Dr. Megan Wrights at Ashridge Business School, shows that leading through fear not only leads to an unhappy team, but also actively diminishes cognitive ability. Simon Sinek famously says that leaders control the circle of safety, and to be a leader you have to belong to our tribe. We have to feel like you serve us and we would happily serve you. So that circle of safety that we create is rooted in trust. Sinek continues to explain that only when we feel we're in a circle of safety we will pull ourselves together as a unified team, better able to survive and thrive regardless of the conditions outside. I mean, this stuff really feels particularly important in a kind of emergence out of COVID-19. That circle of safety is incredibly important normally, but where we've all felt literally threatened, the world of business needs to respond accordingly. So according to a Pew Research survey, 89% of adults say it's essential for today's business leaders to create safe and respectful workplaces. So feeling safe doesn't mean not being held to account or unchallenged about performance. It's not that. It's about creating a high support, high challenge climate. In this environment, there's an absence of corridor conversations. Political game playing is not a thing. Personal agendas are deprioritised. Command and control leadership, you don't see it. Criticism of others, hostile conflict, all that stuff isn't there. The phrase psychological safety is taking the corporate world by storm. It has been for a while. But for once this buzzword's actually vitally important, so don't ignore it. Psychological safety has a robust empirical definition, and I'll share that with you now. The definition is a shared belief that it's safe to take an interpersonal risk. It can be distilled into behaviour that can be learnt and rooted in everyday habits that create a sense of belonging and trust. So according to Amy Edmondson, she's a leading Harvard Business School researcher on the topic, psychological safety describes perceptions of the consequences of taking interpersonal risks in a particular context, such as a workplace. Edmondson has identified the importance of psychological safety in the areas of workplace collaboration and teamwork. Psychologically safe team members feel confident that no one on the team will embarrass or punish anyone else for admitting a mistake, asking a question, or offering a new idea. Now, many of the listeners will be from the world of learning, and that fail-fast mentality presents itself in business environments where psychological safety is embedded. Brown continues to suggest that psychological safety means an absence of interpersonal fear. When psychological safety is present, people can speak up and be themselves. They can be authentic. Experiencing psychological safety means that you feel comfortable making yourself vulnerable in front of the people you see every day. And vulnerability for most people is absolutely terrifying. I mean, for me personally, in the corporate world before I left it, you carry a fear that you can't necessarily be yourself and bring your true self to work. In my current environment, Elevate, that's absolutely not the case. We are all very human, we're all very unique, and we celebrate that diversity. That liberation that comes from that vulnerability being present brings huge rewards in teams of performance and the working climate. So that safety, trust, and vulnerability grow together and strengthen over time. Without that psychological safety, values like courage, trust, commitment, transparency, and actual diversity and inclusion are just words and noise. They become corporate buzz. Talking about psychological safety is not going to magically create it, although focus is obviously a good start. For people to feel psychologically safe, they have to have proof that they are. It's that validation. So a good starting point for leaders is to role model and champion behaviour that supports that environment. Accountability needs to overtake blame. Mistakes need to be held up as opportunities, not failures. Learning agility should be promoted, and feedback should be welcomed. Curiosity needs to be encouraged, not repressed. Healthy conflict should be encouraged. Trust must be built and extended. People's voices should be heard and included. This is what will create a sense of belonging and safety, and actually, develop that end goal of being psychologically safe. So I'd encourage you to take a moment and reflect on, how authentically do those things show up. So you'll undoubtedly have values, like I mentioned, courage, trust, commitment, transparency. But if you are really honest with yourselves, how authentically do those things show up in your organisation? So Google conducted a massive 2-year study on team performance, which revealed that the highest performing teams have one thing in common: psychological safety. The belief that you won't be punished when you make a mistake. So the studies show that safety allows some moderate risk taking, speaking your mind, encourages creativity, and essentially if you stick your neck out, you won't fear having your head cut off. Just the types of behaviour that actually lead to market breakthroughs. So there's a correlation between that environment and a performance return. There's an extract from the New York Times article on Google's Perfect Team Quest, and it sums it up perfectly. No one wants to leave part of their personality and inner life at home. But to be fully present at work, to feel psychologically safe, we must know that we can be free enough, sometimes, to share the things that scare us without fear of recriminations. We must be able to talk about what is messy or sad, to have hard conversations with colleagues who are driving us crazy. We can't be focused just on efficiency. For me, it's a real distinction between managers and leaders. Managers manage activities, leaders lead people. If the downsides can be so detrimental to performance and the upsides so positive, creating psychological safety should be a major focus for anyone leading others and trying to create a team climate of success. Companies will struggle to engage employees and create the right climate if they're not committed to psychological safety first. The good news is that it can be created at a team level. All it takes is good leadership, effort and focus. Enter Elevate. We're more than happy to have a conversation about diagnosing the performance of your business and identifying areas where that psychological safety is either missing and could be re-embedded or could be developed. Check out our social media profiles and other content. We'd love to hear what you think.